All right, so guys, this is the whole vlog on why I don't want to play Cyberpunk 2077, right? Okay, so I'm gonna press that install button and tell you why I don't want to play this game. Now, it's pretty simple. This whole thing is that I am going to make I'm trying to make video games, and the hard thing about that is because like I work full time, I'm a dad, I just don't have time for video games. And usually, what that means is you should play games that you're really into, that that can teach you something. So for me, it's like I think this game Black 88 is a lot closer to that, and moreover, why I like Black 88 is simply because you only have a maximum 18-minute run, which is great, and that fits my lifestyle, and it's cyberpunk, so that's also cool. But it's really kind of sad about this too, and I don't know if anyone's going to chime in because we do have a live studio audience, I suppose. I'm working with my developers right now on like a multiplayer game. All this stuff is there, and I said, hey, I talked to my lead developer and I asked him, like, you know what, we need to get our content out there. I think this is a good topic, like why you shouldn't play games just for fun, that you should focus on games that can teach you something. And I asked him, you've got to be able to say something about downloads or authentication, anything your expertise. And he simply told me, no, there is nothing I have to say about Cyberpunk, and that I'm not ashamed to admit. All right, so anyway, so the basic thing I wanted to say again is that when you are playing a game to learn from it, I think the hardest part, as a person who does love games, but as a developer, is simply how much time do you play that game? Um, it's a weird thing to say, but like when I start playing a game, I really have to allocate how much I can play it, and it's kind of hard. Like when you play a game and you're looking for certain mechanics or features, like how do you break down those features? If you go in there into an experience looking for a specific feature, you might not be relaxed enough to really take in what the full experience is. All right, so when I finally, I try to take a look at animation, I look at controls, I try to figure out, like, I try to play a game different ways. Does it work better with a controller? Does it work better with a keyboard? And I really just kind of try to take apart the game. Now, the weird thing about this is that, of course, you have to play it X amount of times to really fully understand mechanics. So, like, oh my gosh, like one thing I really like about this game as far as mechanics is you have an auto aim. And so the auto aim does is that you can just press X, and wherever you go, it'll automatically shoot that character. Now, the reason why I'm interested in this in a mechanic for the game that I'm working on is I am making a game for kids, and the big issue with games for kids is, kids just don't know how to play video games. A lot of kids don't know a controller, and a lot of kids don't know a keyboard. Or, ironically, you get that situation where kids know a controller, but they don't know a keyboard, or they know a keyboard, they don't know a controller. So it's like this whole learning process on how to learn these things that I've kind of grown up with. So what I like about the controls here is that I have two options here. One, I can use my analog stick, right, to aim automatically and fire and shoot. So it kind of works like a game called Smash TV, if you remember that back in the day. And simply wherever I aim, it will actually shoot the gun automatically. And then I can have X, which I can basically just press X when I'm near something. It'll auto aim and auto lock. That's one of the coolest features that I do like about this game so far. Again, I do also love the thing. It's funny because there's this whole thing, historically speaking. I'm kind of ripping from a Netflix documentary called I think it's called High Score. But there's this whole situation where you have, we had this situation where we had arcade games. And with arcade games, you had limited runs because the idea of designing those games or gameplay was to make a game where you'd actually wouldn't like play it forever, but you'd actually want people to die quicker so that you could, make more money as an arcade owner. And that's how they sold those games and thus created that gameplay with short arcade-like games. But then what happens here is like when you have people able to buy their consoles, you don't really have that as an issue. So I saw this idea of fairness versus trying to make things unfair so that the person can't play. I'm terrible at this game. Okay, let me kill those things. Oh, come on. Ugh. Dash, man. Oh, there's no life in here. All right, so the one thing I do like about this is that having that 18 minutes clock right there creates a situation where you know exactly how long you have to spend on a max run. And the thing I like about this too is that I'm so terrible at this game, I actually don't ever beat it, and I'm totally okay with that because I like having short runs anyway. So it's this one mechanic that I kind of took from this is this idea of short gameplay in a roguelike. Now, that's not something particularly that I'm working on with like a multiplayer game or a smaller game, but it's just something that I think is kind of cool. I want to do one more thing and just talk a little bit more about these controls again. And I like how smooth they are, and there's some things I'd like there to be improvements. So when you usually break down a game and that you like, and I really like the art here and stuff like that and everything about this game, you can always like say, okay, how can I make an improvement on this game? And one of my biggest gripes about this is like when I oh, that's a spike. Like when I jump, I don't hug walls. Now I don't know if that's an upgrade or a power. Oh my gosh, are those missiles? Am I shooting those missiles? Okay. So like one thing I wish I could have is I wish I could just grab a wall and then use it to climb up and do climbing jumps. And I just feel that's missing in a game like this. And I don't know if that's on purpose to simplify the controls, but I really wish I would have that. Oh, it's really cool. I also like this idea of these portals that pop up. And when the portals pop up, like I can't shoot the enemy and the enemy can't shoot me because the portal actually sucks them up. And what's in those portals is like power-ups or additional items. So I do like that thing that you could have something that pops up that takes you to another like mini level or whatever. Whoa, what the heck? And when you're in this mini level, you can actually get some type of power-up or some type of hidden thing, which is really, really cool. And so that's another thing I'd like. I don't know if I can incorporate that into a multiplayer element or something where you have these weird portals that send you to places, but I kind of like that. The other thing, too, that you're noticing that these are cursed objects. Again, it's more cyberpunky, but this comes from, like, you know, basic medieval fantasy roguelikes. You have the situation where it's risk and reward, so you have to think about what you can do and like how you can actually like use these power-ups. At the same time, they're going to cause damage or they're going to sacrifice. So I got this from another YouTuber who did this a lot better than I did, as they played the game longer. And I'll put a link to it, which basically they talk more about the risk and reward system. And I really like that idea put in this type of version of the game. Again, I've seen this in like other like more medieval fantasies, but I've never really seen it done in a cyberpunk way. And that's about it. That's again, this is kind of I guess a kind of riff to take care of some of that like wonderful algorithm juice that's covering cyberpunk. But I want to kind of put my take on it as far as a topic for game developers, right? There's a game that can be so fun and entertaining that it kind of distracts you from what you really want to make. But at the same time, just like a good writer has to read a lot, you kind of need to play games to like look at mechanics and things that you haven't thought of, or how things are done better and what you can do from them. So another thing that I'll be putting out there is that we'll probably be working on a mini Among Us clone. And we'll talk about some of the things that we learned from that related to multiplayer, certification, matchmaking, chat, so forth and so on. Again, these are more informal videos. If you've learned anything about this, please like and subscribe. And also, if you're a developer or you're thinking about making games, or you just have a life where you have no time for video games, put the game that distracts you the most in the comments below. I'll catch you on the next one. And thanks for watching. Bye.
These are the times after. There are no more months or even weeks. Everything is measured in the minutes left to live.